and welcome to the Sports Bar Show, chewing the fat and talking balls as we do every week on a Friday. I am Steve Brown. Alongside me is the manager at Bacup Borough, that is Brent Peters. How are you doing?
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you on this wet and rainy Friday?
I'm all right, but you've just taken me outside about 20 minutes ago, and things are starting to take shape out there, but a little bit of sadness as well, because the old rickety stand that the groundhoppers seem to love has vacated. If
it had been left to me, we'd have preserved it. It's simple as, because the groundhoppers love it.
The groundhoppers do.
And it's part of the heritage of Bacup Borough Football Club. And by the way, Paul Armstrong, whilst I'm on the subject, never mind putting snidey remarks on Twitter saying raindrops keep falling in that changing room, does that still leak? Listen, we had a brand new roof put on the changing room a couple of years ago. The changing rooms are immaculate, but it is what it is.
Tea towels on corner flags?
Well, it has to be like that. We're up in the sticks
in the
north of England. You know, we don't pretend to be anything that we're not.
No, but no, it is looking nice out there now, though. Different.
It looks beautiful.
Yeah,
it is different, and
it is different.
Yeah, it is different, and it's sad that a bit of the history and the heritage. But as you know, as well as I know, there's a lot of things going on in the background. So again, Mr. Armstrong, I'm sure that
watch this space.
In another few weeks we'll be coming to pick your brains, because there is going to be some developments around the stadium.
There is.
So we've got to keep that quiet at the minute, because it's not for publication just yet, but it's exciting. It's just as exciting as everybody's getting all over excited with
Twitter.
with Twitter and promotions.
Well, the thing is, we'll come to the promotions in a second, but with Twitter, this show, unfortunately, will not be able to be placed on Twitter this week, because we've got a ban, another one. Someone is playing silly buggers with us.
Well, what's happening? I mean, I'm not being funny. That's twice now I've put a comment on about my beloved Manchester United.
Yeah, joking comment.
Jokingly, but technically the last one weren't really joking, because it's true. It was true. All I did was put on, after watching that game against Fulham, I tagged in Jimmy McBride. For those who know, a lot of people know Jimmy McBride. Used to be the Rossendale manager, St Helens, but he's a big United supporter. And I tagged him and I went, I'm sorry, Jimmy, but our under-10s played a better tempo than Man United have done tonight. And for some reason, we've got barred again.
So that's someone playing silly buggers.
Well, either that or Twitter are strong Man United fans.
Well, I don't know what's happening, but 6 days and counting, I believe. Unless they get back to us, because we have put
well, it's bonkers.
Yeah, it is bonkers.
It's absolutely bonkers.
It's as bonkers, now I'm coming to it, than the restructure, which is pretty good, but the promotions that have taken place over the last couple of days, news has filtered through from the northwest counties. We're going to have several new sides with us, which is great news. Campion, Ilkley Town, South Liverpool, and everyone's excited that Isle of Man are going to be in the Division 1 North next season.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I think Division 1 North is
it's going to be competitive.
It's going to be competitive, and there's some exciting trips, and you know, it's going to be really, really good. And obviously everybody looks at the Isle of Man situation, because it's like kind of a trip out, but it isn't. It is a trip out, but it isn't a trip out, because it's all about 3 points at the end of the day. But no, in Campion we go back a long way, because for several seasons we always play Campion in a pre-season friendly. Yeah, they're nice people, good people. One of the, I think he's still involved with him, one of the lads shares the same things as myself, in terms that his business is like a courier business, and that's kind of what I'm involved in. So Campion, it'll be good to see them again, the guys over there. Ilkley Moor by Tat.
That's my neck of the woods.
You'll be liking to go to that, Ilkley Moor. Which will bring a great local derby for Steeton, for our friend.
Yeah, he's already getting excited about that.
Yeah, that'll be good. He'll give them some good gates on that game.
And then South Liverpool.
And then South Liverpool, who Bacup Borough, some great history going back in, you know, in
they're an old club, aren't they?
Yeah, of course they are. Yeah. So it's all good. In fact, and this isn't sour grapes or anything. You look at the Premiership things that's in there, and you look at what the First Division North. And I think to myself, you know what? For a season,
it's as appealing, isn't it?
It's really appealing. The First Division North.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm quite excited about it, and I'm sure the lads are.
Yeah. But moving on, we were talking about it. We've been talking about it a lot this week. The restructure's taken place, which means some clubs have been promoted. Great to see Lower Breck and AFC Liverpool get their just rewards in the end.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Listen, we knew that this was going to happen. We knew that the FA were desperate to get the new leagues in place to try and make the perfect pyramid.
So it was going to happen.
So we knew it was going to happen, right? But I've weighed it all up, and this isn't. Listen, listen. Congratulations, by the way, to everybody that's got a move. I won't say promotion, because in my eyes, a promotion is what you do on a football pitch, where you work hard for it over the full length of the season, and you know, you win the league or you finish runners-up in the league. And obviously, it used to be back in the day you had playoffs, so obviously the playoff winners would also get promoted. But you've earned the right to be promoted. Now, that's how I see promotion. So I don't call this a promotion. I call it that there's a restructure gone on within the National League system, which we knew were going to happen. And I congratulate everybody that's got the move. And I get that there's a bit of excitement because clubs have gone into a different level and kind of meeting new clubs and on new territory. I feel a bit sad that North West Counties have lost Congleton, because Congleton have been around the North West Counties for some years, you know, and you know, that's a bit sad. But my point is, am I missing something when people? When I was brought up, people used to say to me, "Self-praise is no recommendation."
Yeah.
Self-praise is no recommendation. You keep your mouth shut, right? Now, I get there's a little bit of excitement, but I couldn't believe that on Twitter the other night that there were several clubs jumping for joy. There were some that weren't and gone and obviously took their movement dignified, but there's others, and it's just all over. We're going up, you know, we've got promotion parties, all this carry on. Now I get it, excitement, but for goodness sake, you know, let's not be mistaken, and I don't know who's done it. I mean, I've done a little bit of research.
I know you have, because you knew I was going to ask you these questions.
And I can't believe it. You know, like, let's go back to the season that was. These clubs have gone up, by the way, on a nil and void, on two basically nil and void seasons.
Yeah. A season that didn't even exist.
It didn't even exist. So, you know, I hope they're not going to be telling the grandchildren and great grandchildren, we got promotion, because one club's gone up and they finished 7th in the season that was after 29 games. Yeah. They finished 7th, and they finished 6th on the season what we've just had that only played an handful of games, and they've gone up. Yeah. Like, I'll give you an instance. On the season that we're nil and void, 29 games in, Lower Breck fully deserved their promotion in my romping. 67 points.
Yeah.
29 games in, AFC Liverpool, 57 points.
Another pretty good.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
You get me? The next club, 31 games in, was Shelley. Now, obviously, they had 57
we lost
points.
Shelley, didn't we, unfortunately?
We lost Shelley, yeah, but they had 57 points, and they played 2 games more than the top than the top 2.
Yeah.
Then we got the next team to come up to go under them was with 27 games was Emley. Excuse me. And they had 56 points. So think about it. Yeah, well, they took a sideways move, but think about that 27 they had games in hand, so they had 2 games in hand. So technically, let's look at the 2 games in hand. They had 56 points. So the 2 games, they certainly took them above AFC Liverpool if they had won the games in hand. I know I mean, it's one of them, isn't it? If my auntie had balls, she'd be my uncle. But you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying.
So then we go down further down on that season, 28 games played, Golkar had 46 points. And then under Golkar, after 29 games, Ashton Town had 46 points. Now for me, those teams, Golkar and Ashton Town, given that Lower Breck had 67 points and AFC Liverpool had 57 points, for me, they were well out of it.
Yeah.
Given the state of the season after 29 games, they were well out of it.
Well out.
But the next team who's gone up,
Yeah.
after 29 games, who's under those clubs, 7th position, were Prestwich Hayes with 46 points.
Yeah.
So they're 11 points off second place after 29 games and 21 points off first place. Yet they've gone up, right? And they're all going the euphoria about going up as though, like, you know, they've won the league. You know, the 7th place. And the season that we've just played a few games, they were actually 6th in the positions. After 5 games, they'd won 3, drawn 1, lost 1. Yeah. So,
well, looking at that, Brent, you know, looking at them stats there, they're very fortunate, aren't they?
I'll tell you what, seriously, Matt, if you're watching this show, right...
he does watch it.
Well, Matt, if you're watching it, believe me, seriously, I know it's your party tonight and I hope you all have a great time.
Mate.
But seriously, go and buy a lottery. Because, seriously, because you're going to win it. You're going to win it because, I'm not being funny, you've done absolutely fantastic to sneak into that.
And all the best for next season, Matt.
Yeah, exactly. But you understand where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
I think, and that's not against Prestwich, by the way. I'm just thinking,
this is the way that the system...
How have they arrived at this? It doesn't make any common sense. You're not going to take anything away from Lower Breck. You're not going to take anything away from AFC Liverpool. Obviously, Vauxhall
Motor... There was breathing space between them clubs.
But after 29 games, all them clubs, so it's gone right the way down. I mean, even to a point, I can't understand why Ashton Town haven't got in. But this brings me to something else. I've seen on Twitter. It drives me mad sometimes when I read things and I think, what am I doing?
You're ringing me up saying, have you seen that, Steve? Have you seen that, Steve?
Excuse me. I can't believe it. When I see a chairman of a North West Counties League club saying to another club, and I play on words, and these are the words, congratulations, nothing wrong with that word, fully deserved. I'm thinking, am I missing something? Yeah. So a team that's finished 7th in the league and 6th the season just gone, is it fully deserved? What's that fully deserved business?
No, you'll be using that kind of statement if you're talking about Lower Breck or AFC
Liverpool. 100%. 100%.
Because they've really knuckled down and got the results.
Yeah, 100%. So anyway, forget it. That's the way that I look at it. And again, listen, we're on a show. We have to debate these things. Yeah. It's not knocking. I mean, absolutely fantastic. I'm pleased for my former captain Adrian Bellamy. I'm pleased for Henry.
Emery.
Yeah, I'm pleased for former Bacup players. I'm pleased for them, and good luck to them. And I'm pleased for Matt Barnes. But all I'm saying is, on principle, looking at it. It doesn't make no blinking sense. And why have Ashton? If I were in Ashton Town's position,
you might want to ask a few.
I'd be asking a few questions and say, have somebody pressed the right buttons on this calculation or whatever? Because they're both same. 29 games, same number of points.
Interesting.
I mean, it's interesting, but how many people will start to really look at the finer details?
Not many.
We've had to do today because I knew you were going to bore me about it.
Yeah, well, we pick up on the stories that have been making the headlines during the week. But the Isle of Man trip, I know I just want to talk about it because hopefully, things will take place next season. And it's a place, the Isle of Man, which you have fond memories of the Isle of Man, don't you, going back through the years? Because you used to do, is it like the end of season kind of...
It started off fond memories with Isle of Man when I was involved with Paul Fletcher, former Burnley and Bolton Wanderers, and he's been chief executive of Striker, and he's been chief executive of Burnley. when I represented Paul on his testimonial committee, and his main, as you know, in a testimonial committee, it's a 12-month thing, and we had a lot of party time, if you will, for raising funds, but it was a party time. Yeah, and Paul had one of the committee was a good friend of Paul's that actually was lived on the Isle of Man and was a big wig with the Palace Casino and nightclub, and so we had quite a few events on the Isle of Man, and his main event was on the Isle of Man, and it was his main event was in the actual international, what they call now the international stadium, where the Isle of Man team will play the ball. Yeah. So it was actually there, and we actually had, if you remember, to kick the game off, we had Erica Rowe.
Which was the one who did the...
she ran on at Twickenham at topless, didn't she? Yeah. For the rugby final. So we had her, typical us. So we had, we had Erica Rowe kicking the game off. Needless to say, she had her clothes on. She went
What's
topless.
This about you wearing some jazzy hat?
Oh, but this was again, so I was telling you the tale. So obviously, so then from that, and then whilst I was at Borough Football Club, if you remember, the Isle of Man used to be famous for the Manx tournament. Yeah. So clubs were invited. Season. Well, we were invited over at Borough.
Burnley were there, Rochdale, other clubs.
Yeah, so we played the competition. So that were used to be a great week over there playing in the Manx Cup, which then prompted me, because I loved it so much, to every time when it come to cup final weekend, it prompted me to take the teams that I managed over for a Jolly Boys outing on cup final weekend.
You had some good, didn't you?
So we had some good times. Yeah, we had some good times out there.
Talking of good times, you're wearing your colours today.
Well, I thought today, Steve, I would wear. Look, as you know,
I was waiting outside in the peeing down rain, and I thought Nigel. Well, apart from. I thought he'd had an haircut, but I thought it was Nigel Pearson walking towards me. You've got jacket, you're fully kitted out. Where have you pinched all these from?
Listen, there, look, quality jacket.
Look at this.
Yeah, but the thing is,
you'd have got through training. If you'd gone to training ground this morning, you could have said you were.
Listen,
Eastern European scout.
I am Manchester United, red blood going through my veins. But one thing's for sure, I'm a football person as well. But I really, really do love, away from Manchester United, Leicester City. And I felt that because this was the first show after they'd won the FA Cup, I would come today in my, obviously it was an hand down.
Yeah.
Hand down, you know what I mean?
I know.
It's an hand down, but I thought I'd come in my hand down tracksuit and official jacket from Leicester City, just to show kind of our respects,
solidarity towards the club, and the owners,
I mean, listen, and I'm being serious when I say this. For anybody out there that looks about Leicester City from as a football club from a distance, like we all do, right? You won't realise what I'm going to say now about the club, right? Because we don't know. I mean, I was privileged to know because I've been invited down a couple of times.
Yeah. You've seen it at close quarters.
When I go to any football ground, I'm always working. I'm always watching what they do and what about the club, and listening, keeping my ears open, and kind of I might ask a few questions, and you find things out, and that's how you learn.
Try and get a few tips.
And every time I've gone, that's what I'm doing. I'm watching everything, and I've been privileged to be. I mean, I know when they won the championship and went up into the Premiership, I was privileged to have been invited down, and I was invited, and I went into the private reception after, and it was unbelievable where all the staff were, and I mean staff, the club staff, the club has a club staff.
Yes.
And you got a warmth about the club. There's a massive warmth and a love about the place, and a love about the affection, and that comes from the owners. It's massive. The owners.
Created from the top.
It's created from the top, and there's such a special. Honestly, the owners. I mean, obviously they had that tragedy with Vici when the helicopter came down and his son's taken over, but they're such loving people, and they've put their money into, millions and millions of pounds into thousands and millions of pounds into Leicester City. It's King Power part of their business and the business model, and they've done that. But when we were on the show last week talking about the Glaziers and then talking about the problems at Manchester United and issues like that, it's chalk and cheese what's happening at Leicester City. These people, they just love the people, the support. They just, everybody's together. Yeah. You've seen that from when they won the cup on Saturday. I mean, how many times do you see it even in big games where a player, manager or whatever will go and get the owner down and say, you're on this pitch with us and you join in. You don't see it. No. And just the love and the warmth. Kasper Schmeichel goes up and gets him down onto the pitch, and there's so much.
They just understand it, don't they? They get it.
They get it, and there's so much. But it's not. It starts from them, and they've brought the community together into the club, but they've brought the club as well all together, so it's all one. So when we talk about the Bacup Borough family, when they talk about the Leicester City family, it really is a family. Yeah. It really is, and there's a lot of them, and they look after them. I mean, you've seen. I didn't bring it in on the show. I've left it in there. That from after the terrible tragedy and the helicopter crash, and then the next time that everybody went, so on your seats there was a carrier bag, Leicester City carrier bag, and inside it there was some goodies, but there was the scarf,
the chairman's scarf that fans were holding up.
I haven't brought it in. It's in the office in the other room, but I'm so proud and privileged to have that. And and to be honest, I'm proud and privileged of wearing a Leicester track, even though I'm Manchester United, I always will be. But you know what? It was a great achievement, and it was a fitting. Last week, it was great. It was a special. There were a lot of special moments which made the FA Cup. The cup, what
it was
we
good
all,
to watch
it was good. It was really good because all the when we talked about on the previous shows, Bob Stoker running on the pitch and he kind of and his hat flying off and all that, and he was running to his goalkeeper.
Those moments that you remember.
Yeah, well they'll remember the Leicester moment, won't they? Because the chairman coming on the pitch and all the togetherness of all they wanted everybody.
Yeah, it wasn't false.
No falseness, and what a special for the game itself. Two good sides going, locking horns, going head to head. And there were special moments in the game. The goal, unbelievable goal, absolutely fantastic. But
Vargas spoils it again, though, in some respects.
Well, yeah, but let's just dismiss that. And then
you don't want to talk about that, but we are talking. Let's just talk about it very briefly. But VAR did spoil the game again because we're talking about a toenail again, aren't we?
Well, we are, yeah. I mean,
I know you're a Leicester supporter. It's great for Leicester to win, but you got to feel for the other side.
It needs to go back to how it were. I'm sorry, but it does. But that's just through my. But you look at the special goal, which it were a special goal.
Oh, it was.
And then you look at the tremendous saves that Kasper Schmeichel's made. Absolute.
There was one in particular.
Fantastic saves. Fantastic. And that's the magic of the cup.
He's a goalkeeper that doesn't live in his father's shadow anymore. He is his own man.
Well,
everyone's talking about, it's his dad.
Forget
that. He is a top class goalkeeper in his own right.
Well, he is, and we forget where his humble beginnings started. I mean, we forget that he actually represented Borough.
Well, I saw Jimmy Petrucci's. I'll put it up, but Jimmy Petrucci had a programme dating back quite a few years, and in that programme was a very young, baby-faced Kasper Schmeichel.
Yeah.
I don't know what I think he was about 17 or 18.
I think it was when Chris was manager there. I think he was there then.
On loan.
Yeah, Chris Kasper was manager at the time. But yeah, he was at Borough. We forget that, and then obviously he's had a stint at Manchester City.
Yeah.
And so it goes on. But again, I'm coming back to then. He's at Leicester City, and he's been there quite a few years now. And you just see the love and the affection. Even when players have left the club, you still see on, in circumstances, because all good things have to come to an end. I mean, Andy King, you know, a truly tremendous player over time for Leicester City. And unfortunately, you know, it had to come to an end, and he's had to move on to pastures new. But you still see him liking all the Leicester stuff and tweeting about Leicester, and he's still part of the family. Well, that brings me to like Matty.
Yeah.
You know, Matty James. You know, I mean, obviously, still his contract's coming to an end. We don't know, you know, where Matty's going to go from here. He's been at Coventry, but again, you know, a big part of the family. Once you've been there and been part of it and been a special
it's going to take some beating, isn't it, to go anywhere else and have that same feeling?
Well, you won't get it. I mean, from the supporters,
because it just becomes a job.
From the supporters to the backroom staff, to everybody that works at the club, not just the frontliners, as the players and managers. Everybody, there's a togetherness and a closeness and a fondness, and that was epitomised last Saturday at the end of the FA Cup final when you saw what you saw.
Well, Sir Alex mentioned it this week in an interview that he's done with Gary Neville. There was a little clip on social media about when they've won competitions. The first thing he does on a Monday morning after that cup final is a full meeting with the staff in the canteen, because it's their trophy.
Correct, and that's right.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
That's what captures the togetherness.
It's right. It is. It's because there's a lot of people behind the scenes. I mean, even in a small way,
all tea ladies that have been there for like 40 years or what.
Non-league clubs like here,
but they're also social workers for some of these young players.
Well, yeah, exactly, and they become like you know, you talk about players that's been at Manchester United. Over time, they always remember the canteen lady. They know her, and they're on first name terms, and she's still there. You know what I mean? It means a lot.
Yeah. You don't realise how powerful it is.
Yeah, 100% that, 100%. And the kind of the same things happen here in a small way, even in non-league football. You know, you can look at any clubs. I mean, ours in particular. You know, the people behind the scenes.
Is this a picture mill? Is there someone at the door?
No, it's your phone. You not remember to shut it off.
All right. Okay.
You know, it's got that silent do not disturb button on it.
Let's have a look.
But
I don't know.
Oh, it's Sir Alex texting you.
Yeah.
He wants you to do his film, promote it.
Wants me to write his book.
Well, blinking heck, if it takes him as long as well. Blinking heck, you told me 6 years ago you were writing mine. You haven't got past first page.
Anyway, some other things that have been happening. Managers coming, managers going, two going, which we kind of worked out over the last couple of months. Big Sam, parting company at West Brom, decided he's not going to continue and leave it at that.
Let me tell you, for all those supporters out there, and I listened to his interview the other day.
It was very good, actually, the interview.
Yeah, it were. And you know what? The supporters out there, it's like the Steve Bruce scenario at Newcastle. The supporters out there are the ones that's talking about him. Route one, Sam's this, Sam's that. It's just absolutely bonkers. It's ridiculous because he's not a Route one merchant at all. What he does, he sets his teams out correctly.
He cuts his cloth.
He cuts his cloth accordingly. And to be honest, there's been games, not at the beginning when he took over, which you've obviously got to find your feet, but gradually, in the latter stages, you've seen a lot more football, as in football, from a West Brom side than you saw at the beginning. So for people to say he's a long ball manager
hitting
and all
the channels
that,
with the
it's just absolutely ridiculous, and it's wrong. And he's a good with everything. I mean, there's a lot of things that Big Sam does that we don't see and know behind the scenes. He's very particular on sports science and psychology and everything to go with that. Very, very big.
He was one of the first managers to introduce it at Bolton Wanderers.
Yeah. So, but do you know what? And this isn't about. I don't know. I have to blame the chairman, and we don't know what's gone on at West Brom. But previous, look, the outcome, you can't get away from it. The outcome is they've got relegated. Did they bring Big Sam in because at the beginning, after a quarter away into the season, because West Brom were languishing near the bottom, and they felt that Bilic wasn't the man to take them forward and make sure that they stayed away from relegation? Well, if that was the case, they failed.
Yeah.
The directors of the club have failed because they sacked Simon Bilic thinking that Big Sam is the Messiah and it wouldn't happen. But it was a bad decision, in my opinion, because, and it's not just West Brom making these bad decisions. I think clubs all over the country, they make the wrong decisions. And what they do, what they don't realise is that you've got a particular manager. So you could bring a bunch of players in that you like them and they want to play for you and everything else. And then the board above you decide, oh, we're not happy the way things are going here, Steve Brown. We're going to get rid of Steve Brown. And they bring Brent Peters in, who I have a different mindset to what you have.
They're not
my players, but I can't get any. I need to get them out before I can get other players in. So it's a vicious circle. And then I've got to try and get them on side to play for me.
Yeah.
And some will, some won't. You know, it depends on the mentality or whatever. And it creates a big issue. And I think that's happened at West Brom. I mean, it's not the first time. I mean, I thought it was disgraceful what West Bromwich Albion did when they set Darren Moore.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It was ridiculous.
I don't think they were expecting him to do that well.
Well, no, but
they did.
But they sack him after that, and he's done well, and they sack him. So, in terms of, look, I feel sorry for the Baggies fans. You know, I really do. But from the board's point of view, I don't feel any sorry at all. But equally, on the other hand, we're backing managers here, but talking about Darren Moore, what he did to Doncaster Rovers this season is nothing short of being scandalous. Yeah. You know, because I mean,
he's ruined two clubs.
He's ruined two clubs this season. I'm sorry, but I don't care what anybody says. He's took two clubs down, one literally. Yeah. Look, Doncaster Rovers were purring along. They were there, they were doing well, they were playing good football. He got them playing how he wanted them to play.
Like they were going to get to play.
They looked like it, and they were good to watch and everything on the eye. And then out the blue, all of a sudden, Sheffield Wednesday, that were already look like they're in an impossible situation. They come and call for him, and you know he's got what he deserves, because they're going to stay and remain in the same division next season, because they've got relegated same division as Doncaster.
I believe about 15 players have been released, so I don't know what kind of season they're going to have next season, but it's going to be very difficult for him.
But what annoys me is the purring along of Doncaster, doing really, really well, and then the best way I can describe it is, you know, they've lost the captain. So if the ship's sailing again across calm waters and going nicely, and then the captain leaves, all of a sudden that ship goes into troubled waters. And from the troubled waters,
it's the rocks.
It hits the rocks, and that's exactly what's happened to And I feel for the Doncaster supporters. I mean, it's a former club of mine. I feel for the directors, the chief executive, everybody at Doncaster, the players. And I know it's easy to turn around and say, well, the players are up. But then players need motivating, then players need organising. They've lost the leader, and a lot of the players that they had at Doncaster were loan players. They had loan players, and some of them there were a couple got injured, and they had to go back to the senior club. So, you know, there's fors and against on both sides. So going back to the West Brom, I think the directors at West Brom, you know, shortchanged Bilic. And the end product is we're bringing Sam in. It still ended up the same. They still got relegated. And I think they shafted Darren Moore when he was the manager. But Darren Moore, on the other hand, has shafted Doncaster Rovers in the way that he's done what he's done going to Sheffield Wednesday. Yeah. So, you know, I think that scenario on both sides is a big problem in football, personally.
Roy Hodgson.
Because before we get on to Roy Hodgson, I'll just say this. Continuity is the key. And the clubs that do really well are the ones that stick with the managers.
It is. Yeah.
John Coleman and Jimmy Bell, part of the furniture at Accrington.
Exactly.
And I've been from the non-league days, apart from a short spell away. Yeah. So that's what tells me. You just know
for a fact that Andy Holt would never... It'd have to be something really bad for Andy Holt to show them to the door. It's not going to happen, is it?
Well, no, but they are Accrington. You know, they're more Accrington. No disrespect, Andy, but they're more Accrington Stanley than Andy. Well, yeah, right there.
Yeah.
They've been part of it from non-league days.
Yeah.
Took them through the conference.
Had a bit of a breather and then came back.
And obviously done well in the Football League. Yeah. So that's what I mean about continuity. You know, you need that continuity. And I know it's in the situation. I mean, look, I've got, but it won't stop me from saying what I think. I've got friends at Salford City. But what's gone on there is there's things gone on there that's not right. I mean, we're not privy to it. But what they appoint Graham Alexander, and then for whatever reason he's doing okay, and then Alexander's shown the door and doing all right now at Motherwell.
Yeah.
Right, and then they bring in Richie Wellings, and there's something going on with there. I'm hearing different stories, but one of the stories is that I'm hearing, and I don't know whether this is right or wrong, that it were actually Richie Wellings that basically said, I don't want to be part of this, you know, I do it this way, but he was getting interfered with. I might be wrong, but then obviously he's got the Doncaster, and I wish him all the best at Doncaster, because he's played at Doncaster. So I think he'll, you know, from all intents and purposes.
But from the outside looking in at Salford,
it's a shambles.
The left hand don't know what.
But then you've got it as well at Fleetwood, and I'm thinking, because we still don't know why Joe Barton got shown the door at Fleetwood.
Yeah, that was a quick process, wasn't it? It was like here today, gone tomorrow.
It makes you wonder whether sometimes these there's certain people in the game, you know, they can't let go. You know, I'm just thinking. Can Gary not let go? I mean, he's great with what he does. He's great with his business acumen, but they can't let go.
The class of '92 going down to the training ground.
If you trust,
looking over people's shoulders and you feel like they're breathing down your neck, you're going to feel suffocated, aren't you?
You just want to get on with it, don't you? You don't want that happening.
No. If you pay me to do the job, leave me to do it.
Well, that's right. Because look, if I were in that same situation as Gary were or is, I wouldn't bring somebody in here into my club that I hadn't done fully my due diligence and sat him down and gone through everything, and this is the way that I want it doing, this is the way we do things here, this is what we're about, and you know, and you're backing them. And now all what class of '92 should realise more than anybody, you can have all the money in the world and throw all the money at it, but it's not going to buy you success.
No.
They've missed out on the playoffs, and they're probably one of the highest wage bills in that division.
Yeah, I know it's easy to say now.
So it doesn't.
But I feel if Graham Alexander would have stayed, I think you'd have been in playoffs.
Well, we can't say, can we? But I know where you're coming from with that. You can't really say. I mean, it's hindsight, isn't it? But all I'm trying to say is all the money. I think people think that if you've got money, it's going to guarantee you success. Football's not about that. Football's not about, because if we go back to the FA Cup last week, in terms of financial clout and status of clubs, Chelsea's a far bigger club than kind of Leicester City. So they can't match them, but it didn't buy Chelsea success, did it, on the day? Leicester City got the success on the day.
It's about people gelling, isn't it? It's the gel and the
exactly. So it's
togetherness that they bring.
So, you know, again, there's it's all strange things that happen, and you know, and I think the you know, in football clubs they're too handy to they put the faith in managers, and I keep coming back to this. It's like a business. So if me and you go into business together and things aren't just working out because we're not getting the sales or whatever, do we sack each other, or do we work twice as hard to try and make it a success?
Yeah, I thought you were almost going to mention jelly babies again.
We haven't mentioned that for a long time, have we?
Roy Hodgson is saying goodbye at Selhurst Park. He's calling it a day. What a career.
Well, what a man. What a man.
Intelligent man.
What a man. What a footballing man. What a manager. What a coach. What experience he's got. It's invaluable. And again, this just epitomises what we've just been saying about money and no money. You know, no disrespect to Crystal Palace. I mean, they've always been languishing at the wrong end of the table because... Is that because Roy Hodgson's a bad manager, a bad coach? No, it's not. He hasn't got the he ain't got the tools, the resources out there, so he's got to make good of the difficult job, and he's more than done that. I mean, I saw some snide on, I think it was on your Twitter the other day saying, but they couldn't, you know, everybody were praising Roy, but they couldn't wait to drop one in that he took Blackburn Rovers down.
Yeah.
What's all that about? You know, why does people have to... At the end of the day...
I was just having a joke, said a fantastic manager and coach, said, but I never worked out why Harry Kane were taking corners. But apart from that, what a career he's had. No,
well, let me throw this into you. Oh. You're asking about why Harry Kane not taking corners.
Or taking corners.
Well, taking corners. Right. So if you've got a group of players that you go out there and your best, I know you've got players that are quite capable of attacking the ball and scoring, especially your centre backs.
Yeah.
But you haven't got anybody that can put quality in. But the one that you have got that can put quality in is your centre forward. What are you going to do?
Well, that's it. Your hands are tied, aren't they? He's taking your corners.
There you go.
There you go, Steve. No, but great career. Who do you think is going to take over that job? Because every time that job becomes available,
Eddie
Howe and Sean Dyche always get mentioned.
Eddie Howe.
Yeah, I think it is, because I don't see Sean leaving Burnley. I think he'll get his money for the summer. Sean
Dyche will be like Sir Alex were at Man United. He's there. Yeah. He's there. He's done brilliant as Sean Dyche. Absolutely fantastic.
And there is talk he's going to get some money in the summer.
Excuse me. Well, hopefully he will. Yeah, I mean he will go if he doesn't get backed, but I'm sure he will get backed.
So Eddie Howe will get that job, you can see.
Well, I think so. Yeah. I think he will. But we wish Roy Hodgson, you know, nothing but the best in whatever he's going to do. Obviously, getting his feet up, we'd like to hope for, you know, the last years of his life.
Yeah. It'd be great to see someone like Roy Hodgson on this panel that they may be looking to introduce. You know, this the reshuffle, if there is a reshuffle, that Gary Neville was talking about.
You mean what I signed the petition the other day?
Oh, right, is that? Yeah, go on, tell us a little bit about that.
I just signed it because I think it's right. I just don't think.
Would it be great to see someone like Roy Hodgson on that panel?
Yeah, I don't think you can. I think you've got to be careful because you know we've got. English football has got an heritage of the like we say, the pyramid, you know, and then you've got the Football League system into the Premier League, and then from the Premier League you play into the Champions League. So they've got this unique kind of system. But if the big clubs leave and pull out to go abroad overseas because that's where the money is, straight away you're destroying an heritage, you're destroying something that's been there for years and years and years. And my interpretation of it, by bringing in a governing body that will preserve it and make sure that can't happen, because we were on the verge of losing something great. What we've had, what we are the envy in you know, the countries throughout the world.
Yeah. Anyway, what are you doing this weekend? Eurovision's on.
Oh, I won't be watching that. Blinking out.
Bet your missus will be. Does she like that?
Eurovision? I've no idea.
Eurovision. Kisses for Me and Sandy Shaw put it on the screen.
I actually worked with Sandy Shaw, you know. I had her on it. I did.
You sound like Tom Jones.
I actually worked with Sandy.
I worked with Elvis Presley.
I worked with Sandy Shaw at Rosendale United. I booked her at Rosendale United.
You're joking.
Seriously.
Did you?
Yeah.
How much did it cost you?
And she was there in a bag of best about it were in the old club what they had outside, right, in the clubhouse at Rosendale United. And I was the DJ, and she was there.
What, part of Peter Brent's road show?
Yeah, and I booked her, Sandy Shaw. So this is true as I'm sat here, and she used to pray to the Mecca or whatever it is, and I'm not religious. She was in the back chain. Yeah. And she come on even at Rosendale United.
Did she have a compass with her?
No, let me tell you, what she come on barefoot, and the room used to sweat like mad. So that state, so you can imagine, and it were wet, so her bare feet. So I knowing Rosendale United at the time, her feet would be black.
Beer, spilling.
Yeah. But it's somewhere knocking about. I'll have a contract that I signed.
So you booked her?
Yeah, Sandy
Can
Shaw.
you remember how much you paid her?
No, I can't remember that.
And what did she come on? Just just sing a couple of songs and that was it?
More than a couple of songs, yeah. She was. I could get her. I think Tony West Entertainment's, not Tony West. From Merseyside. Yeah, they were Tony West that I used to use, but I don't think I booked. I don't think I booked Sandy Shaw through Tony. I think I booked Sandy Shaw through Steve Draper at Darwin. Right. There's a guy called music, and he's still going, I think, Steve Draper. Paul Laney used to live, Steve Draper, in Darwin. If you're watching, Steve, I hope everything's all right, because I had some great artists off Steve Draper. I've worked with some good artists. Jimmy James and the Vagabonds. Yeah. Unit 4+2. Yeah. Casuals. Dear oh dear. Yeah. Johnny Logan next week. Don't know about Johnny Logan. Anyway, I'll see you next week. Take care. See you later.